Joe, I want to ask you about the comedic imbalance. So I know that later this week you're scheduled to have on Roseanne. We're pre-taping this a little bit. So you're scheduled to have on Roseanne. What do you make of the Roseanne fallout? Do you think that ABC was right to dump her show after her bizarre tweet about Valerie Jarrett?
Well, what's interesting is just saying that she was going to be on my podcast. She said it, and then I got all these tweets that were saying, boycott Joe Rogan. The UFC should fire me for having this racist on my podcast. Like, no, I'm going to have a conversation with one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, a person who I deeply respect, who I think is mentally ill. She is on a host of different medications. She's taken Ambien and drinking. She was pushed to the brink of exhaustion doing that television show. And she's made some very poor choices with some of the things that she said. She would be the first to tell you that. And I don't think you could get an understanding of her from a tweet or from a one sentence description of what she did. I think you need to hear her and hear her talk. She's going to be the first person to tell you she's crazy. And she is. She's essentially, at least functionally, mentally ill. Mm-hmm. But it's also why she's such a brilliant comedian. And she's always been what you would call a shit stirrer. If people don't remember, like when she sung the national anthem and grabbed her crotch and spit on the ground and everybody went crazy, that's Roseanne. And I think people wanted to turn her into this lovable mother. There's this thing that people do when life gets weird, which is like where it's at right now, where they want to look back to the past where things just made sense. Can't we just bring back the Roseanne of old? Look, John Goodman's there too. This is amazing. Everything was safe when I was a kid. And that's what they're trying to do. And they don't realize, she's tweeting crazy shit about someone looking like they're from Planet of the Apes, which, by the way, she said she didn't even know that woman was black. And she's just telling this to me on the phone. She goes, I'm not stupid. Do you think I would say that about a black person? She goes, I thought she was Jewish. She goes, look at her. She looks like my relatives. It's what she said to me on the phone. I believe her. I believe she makes some terrible choices. I mean, someone sent me some stuff this morning, look this crazy shit she's tweeting. It was something about George Soros. As soon as I read Soros,
Done.
I put the phone down, I walk away, because it's all like lizard people and Alex Jones and interdimensional child molesters. And George Soros is controlling the marijuana, and I can't. I'm out. That's like the number. George Soros to me is my the line that I will not cross. My DMZ of conspiracy theories. As soon as you get into Soros is hiring those women's march people. They don't even want to be there. They're all being paid. I'm like, how much money does this guy have? There's 1 million people in every city. What's he paying them? $1? Even if you paid him $1, that's a significant amount of money. And they're not going to do that for $1. You're going to have to pay them a lot of money. Are you sure they're being paid? But it's like that Soros guy. As soon as you start tweeting and talking about Soros, my brain just checks out.
So is there a big problem with Roseanne? A lot of celebrities, the attempt to mainstream them as normal human beings. And you see this from both sides. I think to a certain extent, you saw the Republicans did this with Kid Rock, where suddenly Kid Rock was going to run for Senate in Michigan.
And he could have won.
And he definitely could have won. And you see Kanye West, they're doing the same thing now, right? Kanye West is a grand expositor of the Constitution of the United States. And listen, I'm happy for anybody to think for themselves. If Kanye wants to talk about voting Republican, I'm a Republican, I'm happy with that, that's fine. But to pretend that entertainers, I've lived out here my entire life. Pretend that entertainers and show people aren't a bunch of crazy people is just nuts.
Thank you.
They're all the level of nuttiness in this town is so high, and yet the halo effect that we have about celebrities is that, well, if they're famous and I see them on TV, that must mean that they're smart in real life. No.
Well, it's a biological trick, and what it is when you evolved, when all of us lived thousands of years ago, we looked to the most successful member of the tribe, the one who was older, the one that everybody revered. He was the best hunter. He was the smartest warrior. He was the one with the scars on his face that had survived battle, and he could relay to you the lessons of a life well lived. This is what I learned. This plant's poisonous. That snake will kill you. And all of this stuff now gets relayed to someone who's on a giant screen. Now we see Brad Pitt, his head is 20 feet tall. There's music playing when he talks. His lines are all carefully constructed by a team of writers, and we get sucked into it like he's a real hero. And we do that for anybody that gets attention, whether it's Kim Kardashian or Taylor Swift. We see these people, and millions of people are paying attention to them, so we assume that there's some quality behind everything that they're saying. There's something special about them. But there's not. It's a biological trick that it's perpetrated through, and this is not by a grand conspiracy, but through media, through being able to put them on a YouTube screen or on a television or a laptop or wherever you're digesting it, and the knowledge that when you're watching a clip where Kanye West is talking about running for president, and you look down at the number and it says, oh my God, 24 million people have watched this, and there's 15,000 thumbs up. What the And this is the world that we're living in today. So you say, well, it must be, God, Kanye's going to win. Kanye's going to win. And this is exactly how Donald Trump got into office. We have a popularity contest to see who becomes president, and we have the very first ever popular person enter a popularity contest. A guy who is a long-time media personality who knew very well how to manipulate that. He was charismatic. He's a bold speaker. He's not afraid to piss people off. He knows he has a bunch of people that like what he has to say, and he can rile them up. And this is what's strange about taking the word of celebrities over the word of professors or of public intellectuals or of people that have actually carefully considered all these things that they're discussing and have a lot of information. And they're basing these conclusions and these statements on a long history of research. And this is not what you're going to get from Kanye. He's a guy who doesn't even read. He doesn't read.